Billy. I'll stop with the grease, man.
You're. Well, with what you were talking to me about, we talked about so many things before we started to try and record, but that one stuck with me because you were like, "Oh man, you'd be upset, and then just do this funny thing in your head, do the grease man waddle doodle,
Yeah, waddle doodle.
It makes you smile, right?"
Goofy voice, yeah.
But no, well, there's two different
Crayola crowns.
Oh,
That was more Anthony Cumia. We won't go there.
Yeah, don't get into that.
That was Anthony's grease man. Anyway, I digress.
But no, two things. One, everybody's got those coping mechanisms. Like, man, you're just dealing with like a shit day. So then you bring up a good memory. Maybe some people do it with like things that they did in their real life. I like to bring up like cartoons that make me laugh.
Yes.
Or funny thoughts. But, and man, you know what? I like this. I like this as a pattern.
Or
totally...
funny, spontaneous times.
Yeah. But the most important part of it is, and I love this because I don't listen to the episodes after we record them. I try to be as minimally informed as I possibly can. I like it. It's great. I like having that as an excuse. Like, why'd you say that awful thing about Michael Landon? Well, because I didn't know. Anyways, I don't know
that he was awesome.
But no, the thing was that I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Confucius or whatever. But one thing that this person that I remember them saying, and it stuck with me, although I can't remember the person who said it sticking with me, is it's important as human beings to have 3 belly laughs a day. It doesn't seem unreasonable. It doesn't seem like an unreasonable amount of times to laugh. Hearty laughter.
Oh, all you gotta do is think about certain things. But then depending on who you have around you at certain points in the day, it's going to happen at some point.
Well, who you have around you or who you are. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you could be the best stand-up comedian in the world. If somebody's dealing with like the most soul-crushing depression, it could be something that everybody in the world, it could be a joke that every single human being in the world laughs at, and this person won't laugh at it because they're depressed. But it's important to just try and give yourself 3 good belly laughs a day. I like that.
Oh yeah, I agree, dude. Even when you're especially when if you're feeling crushed, man, sometimes you almost gotta like force it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's better to do it by yourself. Otherwise, like somebody could walk by you while you're doing that, and they're like, "Whoa, shit! Is this the Joker I'm dealing with right here?" Like,
no,
I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. You walk by some motherfucker who's like clearly fucking down in the dumps, and then it's like he starts laughing his ass off or saying some crazy shit that makes him laugh. Well, I guess then it seems like they're talking to themselves or talking in tongues if the person doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That is it's kind of a good point you make. When you see the guy who looked disheveled in the parking lot, and he looks mean, and he looks mad or sad, and then all of a sudden he just starts laughing. It's like, you know what? Good rule of thumb, you probably shouldn't interact with those people at all. And the reason why is because you're like, you're fucking weird. And then they're like, I was super depressed, and I was about to throw myself into this dumpster and catch myself on fire, and then I made myself laugh. Now you said that I look weird. Now I'm going to stab you.
Well, this day and age, before you get too deep, if you look at them that much and that hard and wonder that, peer to either side and make sure there's not an earbud in their ear also. No, that's, it's funny because 20 years ago?
No. Right now, in the year of our Lord, 2024, people will still think you're fucking talking to yourself. I remember this was like 3 or 4 years ago, man. I was talking to a coworker. I'm like, hey, man, I'm getting ready to walk into the food line, man. I had him in my ear, in my earbuds. I was like, yeah, I'm getting ready to walk into the food line, man. Let me get off the phone here, man. So I don't want people to think I'm talking to myself. He's like, dude, it's 2022. Everybody knows about Bluetooth. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right.
No, in the talk, if you're talking It's when somebody's quiet and you don't realize they're listening to shit, and if they just start bust out laughing or saying crazy shit, maybe to go they're going with. I think that's what weird people out.
They don't even have to really hear the conversation. I was getting ready to do a job. I was walking to this business, and as I was walking, my mom called me, and I get to the front door of the business. And I was like, I'm not going to walk back to the truck. I'll just stand here on the sidewalk and talk with my mom on the phone. And the conversation went from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes. I was like, all right, Mom, love you too. Bye, 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 bye. The guy in the business comes out. He's like, you all right? I was like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. He was like, I just saw you out there gesturing your hands and stuff. And, it looked like you were talking to yourself. I was like, Bluetooth. You have a Bluetooth. What? But yeah. Well, if you don't see the Bluetooth, but I was like, well, geez.
Well, you also maybe it was if you're more animated than
I am very animated when I talk. So I probably look like a crazy. Yeah, but if you don't know that somebody's talking on the phone and you just see a guy flailing his arms in front of your business, probably think like, I got to get rid of this crackhead. They knew me though. They knew who I was. So it's like, you okay, man? yeah, I'm fine.
It's like, yeah, sometimes they just don't know.
But yeah, that was the first thing as we were setting all this stuff up and you were talking about that. And I was like, yeah, it's good. Whatever you can do to make yourself laugh throughout the day, as many times as you can. You don't have to be depressed to make yourself laugh or make somebody else laugh. It's great. I love that.
Oh, dude, it's nice, especially when you do it, saying shit that you didn't realize was going to make somebody laugh their ass off. When it involves, sarcasm or something. I mean, it's funny. It's like,
are you talking about like making maybe like an off-color joke and then not realizing how off-color it was until you said it, and then the person you said it to actually laughs instead of goes, "That's not funny. That's offensive." You find a friend.
Some of it was dark humor with dark truth, but it's like, yeah, fuck it, goddamn, like, and then like, yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah. It's how it goes. Ow, man. Okay, just stabbed myself in the foot. Current events. The eclipse happened today.
No way. Got cloudy.
Don't worry, everybody listening to this.
Actually, it was pretty clear. So it was a haze like last year around this time. Well, no, it was a little bit later.
No,
from this time when the wildfires were happening. It was a haze.
I was going to say from where you being here, maybe it was different. I had it was clear skies hitting the sun, but
well, I mean, it was clear, but that's how when it got dark, it was like there being a haze.
Oh yeah, but it was like. I went to one customer's house. She was like, I've got all the lights off in my house so I can see the eclipse. She's watching it on TV. She's watching it on TV. And I was like, oh, that's good. That's cool. All right, well, I got all this stuff done. I'm going to do the outside work. She's like, you're going to be okay outside. I was like, well, I'm just not going to look at the sun like I do every day.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about the eclipse. Awesome, rare solar event. Every 20 years? Is that what it is? This particular type of eclipse?
I don't think it has a set time frame. It's a bit of time between them, though. Because we had another one in this area in 2017.
Oh, okay.
That was like of this. I mean, the big deal I think here was, again, I'm not an expert, but it sounds like it's because the focal point was over the continental U.S.
Well,
so that's why it was as big of a deal.
Well, completely forgetting the stuff I said about not doing any kind of show prep. I am an expert, and this only happens every 20 years like clockwork. No, but yeah, I saw all these people with their eclipse glasses on, staring at the fucking sun, and I was like, I get it as a celestial event. Yeah, if you got the means to look at it. But I was more impressed with how it made everything look around me. The way I describe it is like looking at the world through like hell-colored glasses. Everything's got kind of like how like summer storm after it storms and everything's like yellow.
I love it.
I fucking
Or
love that
or
shit.
mornings, and
Yeah.
and it's more in the summertime. It's like purple, like these windows right here, because the way the sun we're an audio show, but you're looking at me. The sun rises from over there towards the road facing our house, and but out this way, because the way the sun would come up here would be orange there right now, like
Yeah.
and then out here would just be straight purple.
Yeah, so it's orange here. It's
was-
purple
yeah,
out there
it's
on the
fucking
well, not
weird,
the
man.
horizon, but yeah, out there beyond the trees. Yeah, and it just looks cool. And it's like everybody's just staring at the sun. And you're
Dude,
just like,
it's
why
weird,
don't you
but
look
they
at the
make it-
fucking? Why don't you look at your yard? Look at
Yeah.
the road. Look at
No,
everything.
that's what I look at it. It's fucking. That's just dude. Weekend mornings, I love that shit when it's like that. That's why I like getting up early. That's when shit looks the coolest. Sometimes is early in the morning as it's peaking. You know, you can say when it goes down, it's the same thing. It's not the same, and there's a lot more shit going on when you're somewhere where it's quiet and you have that shit like the darkness going away and all these weird colors come out. And then it's like it's
Yeah,
neat.
especially when you get those cirrostratus clouds, the ones that look like coke lines in the air.
Cirrus clouds, yeah.
Cirrostratus.
I think that's what they're called.
Man,
There's different.
I looked this shit up, dude. Cumulonimbus, nimbus,
Yeah,
cirrostrat. I mean, I wish I could remember which one it is, but I think that I can't. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna get into cloud lore.
Cumulonimbus,
I'm not gonna get into cloud lore.
stratosphere.
But you know another good one too, and well, hopefully we'll be at. Well, you get to see it every year. Most people don't notice it for what it is, but all the pollen just like coats everything and turns it this like yellow, dusty, yellowish green.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Well, yeah, but then
It
rain,
looks neat, but I'm not.
But then
a
the
fan of
rain comes in, and it's like you almost forgot how green everything was when the rain washes all the pollen and shit away. It's fucking awesome. I love that. I love this time of year. Spring's my favorite time of year.
No, I love it too,
perfect
man.
temperature. Everything starts looking cooler. All the extra colors and stuff.
Extra colors, especially with some of the trees, like the dogwoods and everything that have some of the
Yeah.
flowers mixed in with the leaves.
Wait,
and
are the dogwoods
at least
the
that's
white ones
common.
or the
Yeah,
pink ones?
they're the white ones.
What are the pink ones?
Some of those could be dogwoods too. I'm not an expert.
okay.
I know the main pick ones I know everybody likes are cherry blossoms, but I don't know how similar
they're
those are.
definitely
to
not
dogwoods.
cherry
Yeah.
blossoms. Cherry
I
blossoms.
know they're not, but I mean
Cherry
the
blossoms
color
are-
of that pink is
There's-
similar to that color.
There's no cherry blossoms in Partlow. You're not
No.
allowed to grow them here. There's got to be some sort of a rule. You're not allowed to have fancy shit here. No, but
We have bamboo.
bamboo. You know what? Bamboo as a
It's crazy those random spots with the bamboo.
It's
If I could contain it,
you can't.
I know.
You know
That's
what
why
you
we
can-
won't
you know,
do it.
You know what you can contain it with? Asphalt and a concrete curb. That's how you contain bamboo. When I go to Richmond, some of the apartment complexes there, it's actually a pretty good, easy way to make like a privacy fence. You have your parking lot, you have your curb, right? And then you just grow bamboo in between your parking lot and whoever the fuck is on the other side of it. And then you've got a permanent privacy fence. Nobody's weaving their way in through it. And if anybody cuts their way through it, it's obvious as fuck because it's bamboo.
Yeah.
I like it as a plant.
I like it too.
It doesn't look pretty, but it's I like it for it's a utilitarian plant. You can make stakes out of it for forts.
And bow staffs.
Yeah, bow staff.
Dude, that fucking hunk of bamboo that I have here, that's like lightweight.
Bow
I mean,
staffs.
you pick that thing up, that's like, I feel like I could do moves with this that could throw my back out.
Bow staves, punji sticks, flutes, wind chimes.
Make a bamboo flute and start playing Aqualung. And break into locomotive breath.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The springtime is here. Yeah, man. I can't even talk about it. You know what? I have never talked about it.
I wish we had a babbling brook. I got a slightly dried up creek. Wish we could turn it into a babbling brook.
We can.
Yes.
All we got to do is dig a deeper hole downhill from wherever the water's running.
Figure out where it's clogging up. That motherfucker used to flow. That's
Yeah.
down where the dogwood's at.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's weird. It's a random dogwood with that hooks over.
I looked at I was sitting there looking at that, man, looking at the water flowing. We got all that rain the other day. And I was like, I can't make you know what I didn't know you had as a part of your driveway system? I didn't know that there was a I don't even know what the name of it is, but
The pipe.
the big metal pipe.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
You know what the
I
problem
didn't know
is?
where they
you know,
either one of them were.
You know where
until
there's
water
one of
started
them
running out.
where the fucking water got the worst, where we were putting the gravel. You know what doesn't help? You notice what's quite a few feet above the road? A
small
fucking
pond.
yeah, a pond right there, and I believe that's probably why it's like that. But I guess I don't know. Build a mini bridge. No, fuck that.
Mini bridge.
I was like, go bitch to the county. I was like, fuck that. I want the county in my business. We'll just shift this motherfucker and keep them the fuck out of here. You know what? If anything, we'll make it rougher and we'll figure out a way to get around with special tools.
Fuck it. Dude, let the county know.
Fuck them.
Yeah, no. Let them know. Let them know. And then when BlackRock comes around to try and buy your land, they're going to be like, no, we can't put anything here. It'll cost way too much to fucking divert all this water and blah, blah, blah. You know, that's a fascinating thing that I had
But
no
then you
idea
got to
about.
wonder, dude, the way it is nowadays, didn't mean to cut you off, but then
you're
you
good.
know what you're inviting in? Oh, they start looking around your yard. And the way things are going out, it's like, oh. How many chickens you got down there? All right, so you got a coop.
You got a tax stamp for them chickens?
Those in the ground?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get a permit for that structure? We're with the government.
There was a...
We
There
didn't
was
get our cut. We got a whole lot of debt to pay off.
There was a stand-up comedian. I think it was Tommy Johnigan talking about that. He was like, you know, if you want to make another human, you can make another human accidentally. But I mean, like, if you wanted to add like a porch to your house, you better really want that fucking porch. You know, you got to talk to the county. You got to get permits. You got to make sure everything's up to code. But you can bang a baby into somebody and have a lifelong, a potentially lifelong drain on society,
Dude.
Should you raise your kid improper?
And there's some, I've talked to people, and some of them have done it right, but there are other people, and it's just because they had the know-how in terms of how to do it, and that kind of mindset, which made him. He was very smart in how he did it, and the way he cheaply and patiently acquired the materials. But in terms of law shit, they build something, and it's like, dude, this is fucking awesome, and then it bites him in the ass. Luckily, he got around it. Remember coworker, Portuguese John?
Mm-hmm.
He had a single-wide trailer on a piece of land and stuff, place off Lawyers Road somewhere. And he was saving up material to buy a home, and what he did, he ended up getting enough material, free material from jobs that people just let him have, and then other stuff, and had friends that knew how to do shit, and he built it was like a garage, and there was a house on top of it.
Oh,
and he
okay.
pretty
Like
much
a
saved.
loft.
Yeah, but it was big. It was a
Yeah,
fucking house, pretty much. It was awesome, and he did it without ever getting a fucking permit to do that shit. And the county wanted to take his fucking place away and stuff. It was fucking crazy. And he passed all the codes for shit, but he just never got a permit.
This land is your land.
No.
This land is my land. No, this land is our land. Do you have a permit? Did you pay your taxes? You better have.
It's
Otherwise,
ridiculous.
someone's gonna push in your shit.
America.
We're talking about going to debtor's prison. I don't know if anybody gets
Yeah,
raped
man.
in debtor's prison, but probably.
Oh, we all do.
Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to be so crude with the push in your shit line. Actually, I did. I totally meant to do it. That's why I said it twice.
It's funny how your credit score goes down.
If you don't know
have-
anybody, anyway.
Oh, dude, God forbid you don't have debt. I've known people that always just save cash and were able to figure out ways to do shit with cash, and they never took out stuff, even vehicles. People hustled like that. And then there comes a time where they need credit to buy something, and they're like, well, you don't have any credit. And they've acquired and built up what they have, and that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that, that's it's like a trope.
Dude, when I bet you,
My granddaddy bought this land, and my daddy farmed this land, and I'm farming this land, and he died on this land, and my daddy died on this land, and I'll die on my land too. It's like, don't say don't add any kind of form of ownership to it, because the second you don't pay your taxes, they'll take that shit right from you.
you want to hear an example of how they judge you on this shit, right?
Like credit.
Oh yeah, and this is something that's going to come up personally for me, and it's a good thing, but I know what's going to come behind it, and I don't give a fuck, but I get it. You got to play the game, I guess, if you have plans for something big. I don't, but I'm about to pay a vehicle off here in 2 months. I got 2 payments left.
What are you gonna do,
Dude,
what next debt slave thing are you gonna get hooked into?
what happens is you paid off this debt, and you've been doing good, and everything looks good for shit. It's whatever.
It's not
that
whatever,
scale.
but whatever.
It's gonna get a jump when it's paid off, because it's something like that. And it'll be good. Oh, that's cool. You know what's gonna happen after like probably 2 or 3 months? That shit's gonna fucking drop probably 10 to 15 points lower than what it's been in a few years, and it's be like, hey, unless I just start jacking something else up. I mean, who knows? It's stupid.
You need a boat. You need an ATV. You need a boat. Maybe take out a home finance. Get your home refinance. Take out a loan for a detached garage. You gotta keep owing.
No, that's
if
the
you
thing.
don't owe, then you're not worth nothing, man.
See, if it's worth playing the game, there's something you can find where it's like, all right, I'll use credit to do something for this. Then it's worth it if you can do it in a certain period of time. Not a bill that big. Fuck it.
But is it really a game?
They want you to pretty much like want to take your it's one of the things that gets people to want to trade their vehicles in all the time too.
I don't know. Maybe this is not a good analogy, but the way I'm thinking of it is, here's how it was explained to me by my father. It's better to have bad credit than no credit. You want to have great credit, but even if you have bad credit, you can get stuff that you couldn't get if you had no credit.
Depending on how bad you need it. Think about it like this. Well, I still got this credit, but I'm going to pay this, and I'm going to get. I'll look if I pay attention, which a lot of people don't. I've had people. My mother was always like, "Don't." And I was like, "Well, you're the one who told me not to do it, so I did." She was like, "Never add in the interest on certain things that you pay for."
Yeah.
And it will. But people don't think about it. They think credit. Oh, I can get they think about that what's in front of them.
Dude, I'm hoping an EMP hits Navy Federal any day now. I don't give a shit. I'll lose my pittance in my savings, but it'll wipe out so much more that I owe in credit. Yeah, I'm sure.
But that's how they get some people coming in, man. Because sometimes, dude, it blows me away that the kind of debt some people will put themselves through.
Do we know? We know, man. I don't know if we talked
and
about this in private.
And sometimes it's like they do it to keep up with people.
Did we talk about this in private, or maybe we did a recording about it, where it's like we see these people, man. You look at them, and on the outside, it's a duck on the water. On the top of the water, you see this calm duck, and then right below the surface, that fucker's just paddling away. And yeah,
Trying to stay above water.
you see, you know, maybe friends, maybe you see family members, and they got like a fucking, you know, they got the 2-story, 4-bed, 3.5 or 2.5 bath house with a detached garage and a big speedboat and 2 ATVs and 2 big ass trucks and 2 small cars and 1 fucking beater for their Sweet 16. And then you're like, man, I wish I had that kind of money. And then you just like wait like 4 or 5 years, and then they're selling all that shit. They're foreclosing on their house because maybe like you were saying, they moved into a neighborhood, and maybe they moved into a neighborhood and thought that they were going to compete with the people who could live in that neighborhood. Maybe they just wanted something that they really couldn't have afforded and didn't really need.
You word it like that, and it blows my mind that that's even a thing.
Look no further than dude. I go to a lot of neighborhoods, man.
I know it's a common phrase, keeping up with the Joneses. I hear that and I'm like, who cares? Do you? I don't know. Oh shit.
I see you there, Khrushchev, cruising up mighty fine with that Sputnik satellite. I'm gonna do you one better. Just you wait and see. You can't get the best of me.
Oh fuck!
That shiny white Cadillac.
And I mean, it's all cool. Everybody, you know, you make it and you can get the stuff you want, but it amazes me the way people put themselves in debt over some of that kind of thing, those things.
Getting things that you want, that's awesome if you can afford it. But if you can't afford it, you need to focus on the things that you need, and you need to focus on your needs based on the most immediate ones. And it sounds like, man, oh, wow, congratulations, Einstein, you figured it out. It's like, well, hey, I barely have it figured out. But there are people who I thought had it figured out, and they're going bankrupt right now. So I don't know what to tell people about that.
And I do. And
if
I
you
feel
have,
for people that,
if it's you and a wife and a kid, guess what you don't need? You don't need a 4-bedroom, 3-story house with a 2-car garage. You don't need it. Do you want it? Do you need it? Wants and needs. It's always about that.
yeah. I mean, I understand wanting space from other people, though, depending. But I mean, you hear the price of apartments, though, too.
All right, Jimmy. I was talking about a husband and wife who love each other and their child that they love. You're like, yeah, but sometimes, man, you just need like space away from like the people that you love.
Oh, I meant neighbors.
No, I get you on that one. And you know what? Sometimes you just can't get that, man. Dude, apartments. Dude, I work in apartments all the time. I know who is home and who isn't home based on where I start my work. And I'm just like, it's nerve-wracking being in somebody's apartment and hearing somebody else above. I don't live in the apartment. I'm just doing my job there. But I can hear those footsteps. So the person who lives in that apartment hears those footsteps all day long. And you got to get used to it. There's no way to soundproof everything.
But some people don't care because I work with people, and I've been friends with people that have lived in apartments, and they'd rather live in an apartment, and they'd say like the pros to them, and they'd look at me, and
I get what you're saying.
They're gonna bring up, I don't have any grass to mow, like I have trash service, I just got to take my bags out, and I was like,
I don't have to mow the grass. Dishwasher breaks, refrigerator breaks, washer and dryer break, depending on your
washer and
lease.
dryer. I get dishwasher, and that's one they'll bring up. That was brought up to me. I'd rather you see what I have. Where I used to have a dishwasher where I moved in here, I got a little freezer there. I'd rather wash my dishes by hand than waste the water. Cutting grass, I like. You know what? When you're strapped on time, it sucks. I like cutting the grass in my yard. To me, it's exercise. I like being out in it. I can listen to music.
Have you seen
going to the dump? I love the country morning ride to the dump. I don't give a fuck. It's something to do.
Have you seen me do this when I pull glasses out of your cabinet? pull a glass out of the cabinet, and I go like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a habit from living with people who had dishwashers. I wash everything by hand.
Mm-hmm. It's never as good in a dishwasher.
You know what I use a dishwasher
and they
for?
ruin shit that says don't wash in dishwasher, but they're so used to just throwing everything in a dishwasher.
Do you know
they
what I use a
fuck
dishwasher
shit.
for?
What's that?
A dish rack. I pull the fucking things out of the dishwasher. I wash the dishes by hand. I put them in the dish rack as an enormous dish dryer.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
what I do.
When it became that, when the cabinets were redone, we left the hole there and everything. It was like, all right, so we just get a dishwasher. I was like, no, fuck that. Put a little freezer in there because you know they're there, and it was offered up too. Plus, it was free at the time, but it's, dude, you can do more with it. You can store more food. You know, fuck a dishwasher. They're overrated, man. I wash them better by hand, and your shit lasts longer if you don't use a fucking dishwasher because people put things they're not supposed to in there, and I think it ruins other stuff down the road anyway. And they just don't clean it as good. Some of the shit gets gross if you just let it set and not pay attention to it.
Man, look, I've had to be a part of the repair
dishwashers.
process. I know, right? Folks, we talk about the fucking hot topics of the day. Do you have a dishwasher? Because if you do, it sucks and you shouldn't use it.
I do. These hands.
GE's coming after us, man. General Electric.
You know who owns?
No,
I'm assuming, but I believe it's George Soros.
Really?
I believe so.
Huh, what a coincidence.
Wait, let me.
Wait. Wait.
I gotta.
We
feel
don't-
like I heard this back in the
Folks,
day.
we don't have some random person. We don't have a Joe Rogan Jamie. We have to look our stuff up. So when Jimmy picks up his phone and starts tic-tacking around, I take that as my opportunity to ramble. One thing that we have gotten done, I've been talking about this a lot. We got this table
Maybe it's not.
finally finished.
He used to be CEO of something.
Here's the thing about making a table out of construction materials you get at Lowe's. It's not perfect. It's awesome though. It looks like a table you would see on a pirate ship. It's just it doesn't have the gouges and stuff in it yet. We haven't done any kind of violence to the table. No loud bangs. Ooh, I like how that sounded. I have to go back and listen to that in the recording.
Bang.
But
I think I'm wrong. All right, never mind. I thought he was involved with the company like that. My apologies. He's anyway.
oh, I'm sure he's involved through a bunch of shell companies and
And different types of trafficking. Who knows what?
what?
Way.
Why are you saying it like that?
So many broad.
Why am I saying what way?
Hughes.
You're being weird.
Hughes. What? Net.
You're being weird. There's not even an
Weird.
H in there.
You say queered?
Weird. Quirr.
What?
Mm.
You know what I say? I say we take a quick pause and come right back.
That's fine. I
Is
can go
that
for a
cool?
smoke.
Let's do a smoke.
You don't smoke cigarettes.
You don't know. We got a pack of Pall Mall Blues back in the bathroom. I found them.
Really?
Yeah.
You found a pack of
Yeah.
Pall Mall Blues?
They stale.
Man, let
No,
me
I'm just-
smoke. Let me
I'm
smoke
kidding,
one of those
dude.
5-year-old cigarettes. It's got to be more than 5. It's got to be like 8 or 9.
I found them in a broken whiskey bottle.
You'll fucking light that fucking Pall Mall Blue up from 10 years ago, and it just fucking disintegrates like just they take one puff, and the whole cigarette just goes. All right, man. Let's pause it for a little bit, see how everything's going on the outside of this house. Here.
Sounds good.
New equipment. Hit the rec button.
Indeed.
Bosh.
Mondays. It's almost kind of soothing the way it comes through. Indeed.
This wasn't the part where he was like, "Hey, Billy boy."
I don't know. Pretty sure he was kicking the shit out of somebody, or he was about to.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was the part where he runs into Billy Boy and his gang. Hello,
I don't
Billy
know.
Boy, reeking of chip oil, and I can't remember the line.
I was gonna say, you talking reminds me when we stopped and that melody kicked. That's all I can think of is how much I love this. Oh,
Was it-
what a great
was-
soundtrack?
I was gonna say, was it the part where they got into the fight, or was it the part where fucking Alex fucking like hits Dim right in the fucking nuts with his cane?
That might have been it. Oh yeah, because it starts building up just like this. It's like, oh man,
What'd you do that for?
I'm waiting for a nut shot. Get the tables, Devon. Yeah. Ah! Yeah.
You
That
know,
probably
now that
inspires
no,
metal
Now that I'm
bands.
thinking about right there, where it starts to kind of peak there, I think that might be the part where Alex goes to reach his hand out, and then when he pulls his buddy out of the river, he fucking slices it with the fucking knife behind his back.
But dude, you know what's funny? And I'm pretty sure it's Alex who does it. But he smacks somebody in the dick with the cane. It's like, why are you even gonna bother? You all got these obviously padded cod pieces going with your, was it droogs that they that
The
they're
droogs.
the droogs. Do you remember that? It was like a padded cod.
Yeah. They had the cod pieces, but he said that they were the height of fashion in the novel, not
Yeah,
necessarily.
no, I believe. Okay, you're right. It is in the book. Yes,
But you know the funny thing is,
that was a good book.
it was a really good book, and I don't remember if this is in the book or if it's in the movie, but I remember it from the movie, and it's the part where the lady is singing Beethoven. She's doing the opera singing Beethoven, and then fucking Dim makes fun of it, and he fucking whacks Dim in the fucking nuts with his cane. He's like, "What'd you do that for?"
Did Anthony
This is my
Burgess
fav-
write Scanner Darkly also?
No. Scanner Darkly. That wasn't Phil. That was Philip K. Dick.
Yes, Philip K. Dick, and he did other shit
But
that
this
I
is
knew about.
this is
Sorry,
probably
I feel like a
no,
retard now.
It's okay because this is probably one of my favorite lines from a
It's all
movie.
dystopian.
he hits Dim in the lap with his cane
Yeah.
after he makes fun of the lady singing Beethoven opera. What'd you do that for? For being a rude bastard with no fucking manners.
Yeah, while he's drinking his milk.
Malacco.
What was it? The Korova Milk Bar.
The
I thought
Korova Milk Bar.
That place looked like it was pretty cool. I could have seen them playing some good jazz in there at some point.
I don't know, dude. The way that movie came, like the year that movie came, it was like, it was like a bunch of,
Yeah.
dude. It was a combination of like classical pieces, and then those same classical pieces that were like played through. What was it? An auto synth? Was that what?
I already know you're going to bring up Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
When
but was it through
dude,
the auto synth though?
It was a thing. I believe it was called a synth cleaver. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
Clavier?
Clavier. That might be it. And it was like you could It was like a huge computer, and you could program all this stuff, and it could do whatever you want. Play shit humans couldn't play, and that came out of his fucking mouth. But I love Frank Zappa's music. I love a lot of shit he did. His music with that fucking machine, I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not.
You know what? You're not a fan of it, but
There's good. There is some good. Compared to,
hey, don't get me wrong.
you know, I like Frank Zappa's music. There's music I love by him. That is shit. Or it's like, all right, I gave it a chance. That's not
you
for
know
me.
you know more about his library than I do,
Yes.
and without specifically knowing anything that he played on the synth clavier, When you let me borrow that autobiography,
Oh, that's when he was deep into
I can understand
cut.
why he wanted to do that, because he was working with orchestras. They were in a union. They got all these breaks, and then every time they went to go have a break, they'd go to the fucking bar. They'd come back to the studio fucking
Now-
fucked up. So he was like, yeah, I'm going to go to this robot here that doesn't take any time off, doesn't have to be paid extra, just will make the notes that I want it to make. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. All it mattered was that that's what he wanted, and that's what it played.
And I get that, but see, and I remember that chapter specifically, and that's
that
where
really
I
stuck
get
with me. That stuck with me,
and
man.
that's the one where I get it. But that's also when he was. That was specifically like when he was had a chance to finally do some classical albums. Like when I believe those stories from everybody was like, oh, Frank Zappa's working with the London Symphony Orchestra. I believe that was one of the big ones that he did. There was multiple, but that was the big one where he finally got out there as a classical composer.
Yeah,
and that was his experience that he wrote about with that machine. I get it more so for that stuff. It's still not, at least for that time, it didn't sound on that level. It still sounds very electronic.
Okay, I get you.
Maybe that's the wrong word.
I've got no frame of reference here because I haven't heard those specific.
So for that kind of
songs.
work, that's where I'm like, all right, I get it. But that became his main line of work, even over working with bands, which was a little weird.
And maybe today, I mean, who knows what AI can do today?
How do you refer? What do you? I always said synth cleaver was synth clavier. You can't improvise with it. So you want to do classical music, I get it if it's a set thing. But there are certain things, if you're trying to have like Frank Zappa, as tight as his music was when he was with a live band, like doing his regular shit, there were set parts where, I mean, it was tight. But then when he did his like solos, the rhythm sections and everything, even spots for other people in the band to solo, there's improv in there. You couldn't do that with that machine.
You know what? Because I'm pretty. Once again, we have this the weirdest conversations. I didn't expect it to go here, but it's pretty cool. It's so funny, folks. If we recorded every single thing that we thought, was just thoughts spilled out onto the internet, maybe more of you guys would watch our show. But I remember talking to you about the conductor, right? The guy who waves his wand around, and I didn't really understand his purpose. It just seems like he's just looking at the music and just waving his wand to the music. But you make that point right there. One man programming songs to sound how he wants it to sound is fine. But how do you fine tune that in the actual playing? And maybe that's where a conductor comes in. He sits there and he waves his wand and he waves his hand, and you think, this guy's just acting like a fucking fag while he's looking at
Frank
the music
Zappa
notes.
did that shit with a live rock
exactly
band.
but that's
those
the
guys
thing.
were trained musicians. They knew.
The conductor would look at the brass section, he would look at the string section, and if they needed to come up, he would point to them and raise his hand up or bring it down. And that's where a conductor does.
Dude,
it creates a completely unique piece of art every single time based on what the composer thinks or doesn't think that he's hearing that is or isn't right. And it's pretty cool, especially if we did put out that recording where I said the conductors are completely useless, and now I've come up with a reason why they may be useful.
And I'll tell you what, a lot of them that I've learned, and I can't even bring up a lot of their names, but stuff I've learned about certain conductors, a lot of them I know played piano, because piano, you kind of hit on notes and tones.
It seems like if you can play piano, you can play any other instrument. It's weird.
Piano and guitar, when you look at sheet music,
they
have both the bass clef and the treble clef on the sheet music, whereas a lot of instruments a lot of them are like, like violin and all that shit is just all treble clef and everything. Got lower tone instruments. It's just a bass clef. So the piano is one of those ones. Guitar too, but definitely piano where it's like that. So I can see where it's easy because you can get a feel for all of them. But Zappa doing that shit with an orchestra, there's some videos out there. Some of that shit's pretty crazy. Some of the best stuff is like he did the stuff with the London Symphony Orchestra. I forget what orchestra it was in like 92, 93, but there's one project called the Yellow Shark, and he did a bunch of his stuff with, I forget what orchestra it was, but it was like right before he fucking died, and that shit was fucking awesome. Like there's this one song called the Bebop Tango from Roxy and Elsewhere. It's a live album back in the day, and a lot of crazy drums and percussion. That's Zappa's got a lot of that shit. His orchestra stuff has a lot of that in there. It's fucking crazy stuff. I don't know. It's worth hearing it. It was like a different world hearing it with an orchestra. And and you know what? Maybe this is the ego in him. He was shit on some of the people in the unions that played with orchestras because I think one time he said they were used to going through the motions and playing certain things, and it was work he respected, but it was like they were throwing some shit that they didn't know, and if it was technical, it was like, I was like, all right, I get what you're saying, man, but there was probably some truth to that. Like,
no. I mean, get it. Like,
yeah,
you're a part of an orchestra.
You got them out of their comfort zone.
You're playing music that was written, anywhere from 80 to fucking what? I don't know, 100, 200, 300 years ago, whatever. I don't know the time frame on that, but I mean, fucking Beethoven, Bach, fucking these guys haven't been around for quite some time, and it's like, ooh, you know what? Maybe I'll put my own little twist on this. I'll bring it up a couple extra octaves on this, whatever. I don't know enough about, whatever to know whatever, but yeah. And then it's like, hey, I'm this new guy, and I want you to make I want you to do, I want strings, and I want brass, and I want percussion, and I want it for, Dynamo
Home.
Yeah.
Oh, I could only imagine.
It's
and I
like...
bet you, I don't think he ever did it. I bet you there's somebody who did do it. Because it took time. Again, I believe he's looked at highly in the classical community.
That's one thing that I respect about people.
I believe Koji Kondo should be in there too.
There's tons of people like, dude, I got into it. It's weird. Like my entire life, the decisions that I wanted to make and the availability of those decisions were not available. So like going into middle school, it was like you take exploratory with like tech ed, home ec, all that shit, art. Or you could do band, or you could do choir. Didn't want to do choir. I wanted to do
There was
band.
no strings in band at that time.
There was no strings. You know when strings came in?
Year after year?
Yes. I came in 6th grade. Strings came in when I was in 7th grade.
You could have still decided to learn the instrument, though, if you'd really wanted to.
Yes.
Well, that was a mean way of wording it. Sorry.
No. But that's the thing. I could have had I didn't have that drive at the time. Like I started out. You were trying to teach me how to play guitar, and then I picked up a bass, and now I play the bass. But
no, I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
We had that. It was Uriah's that was always over there.
Exactly. That was the thing I knew.
One of the first things, and I think I figured it out and was showing you when you were learning, was that Gorilla song that came out at the time.
Mm-hmm. It was either that or the classic thing that everybody learns on guitar and bass, is Smoke on the Water, something.
I know that was one of them, but I feel like for some reason that Gorilla song.
Boom, 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 boom. Was that it?
What? Which one?
I ain't happy.
Oh no, it was the other one that boom, 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 boom.
Oh, it feel good.
Boom, 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 boom.
But no,
good. Yep, and that's good.
But yeah,
but that bass line stood out, and when that came out, it was easy. I was like, oh yeah, check that. And I remember us trading off on the bass.
But once again, though, like this day and age, you can go to and you know what? Maybe it existed when I was.
But
a
doing
kid.
it back then, you would have got the discipline with some of the shit. I lack discipline on more, and I could have pushed it and got it certain ways, certain reading, and I can figure certain
we're
things
both
out.
like that.
But you know what? I believe if you get if you're too far in that other direction, granted, you could probably get more work and do more shit. Some of the stepping out of the boxes is probably harder to do.
You know what? And that was one of the things I always liked when it was it was me, you, and Asa, or it was me, you, and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And we got other people in, and man, the guy made me feel like a fucking a dumbass.
The one that came over to the house.
The drummer, the guy who was a drummer teacher.
Yeah, the one who had the kid before we got the other guy who was kind of weird.
You mean the alcoholic?
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, it was like, can you play in the key of, whatever? And I was like, I don't really know about keys, but if you just start playing, I can figure it out on this. I can,
No, he made me feel small. He was really good. He gave some props, and I could see where I know he wasn't like being just trying to be nice was because I noticed while we were playing, and he'd throw in changes, and it would be like, in terms of that, And I remember him. He was like, "All right," and then he said something afterwards.
It's like, if you want to talk to me about technical stuff, I can't. I couldn't tell you where I'm playing on the neck. All I can tell you is that I can hear what you're playing, and I've got a rough idea of what it sounds like when I start playing. And if it doesn't sound right, I'll move up or I'll move down.
I can tell you. It takes me. I can't do it like.
No, and dude,
and
I remember
because I didn't focus on
you
it.
had
early.
Because there was two books that I always heard about. There was the fucking guitar grimoire and the bass grimoire.
But in terms of figuring out where you're at, it takes little things.
Yeah, I never had either one of those. But going back to Exxon, probably is Leslie's probably walking in.
Oh, okay.
But no,
I had a chart, and I had it at when we all lived together. I've had it for a while. It's a fucking Guitar World poster.
I remember it hanging.
It was the
the
no
house.
bullshit chart, and it was pretty much all the notes on the neck. And I know it was a guitar, but you could essentially decipher it for those strings on the bass because of the layout.
Yeah.
But it just simplified things, and then you could find other stuff. But that's how I do it, man. Otherwise, you can just get caught up, and it becomes overwhelming when you think about it from that perspective. But again, having some discipline is good when it comes to communicating because music is a language.
Oh, I don't need to have discipline as a bass player.
Well, luckily at this point,
I just hang out in the background and be inaudible.
No, it ain't like that.
Just turn the bass down. Just turn it down. We can't hear you. No, it's fine.
There's a few times we've worked together on stuff and come up with ideas, and I'll be like, depending on who's or I'll just, depending on who comes up with it. Like if I came up with it, I'll be like, oh no, you're right in with me. Just slide up, like, half step, up one fret, like, all right, we're a little closer, and getting key and shit, and then we just kind of roll with it.
But yeah, the
I'll try to get
Well, and that was the thing.
I work better that way.
We had when it was, especially I think when it was me, you, and Asa. There was a lot of stuff where it would we moved around based on what everybody was doing. When it was you and Chris and I think that the jam band
you couldn't
part
do
of it
with Chris.
Yeah,
and it's nothing against him. He had just started playing drums, man.
And
it took.
He was good too.
He was good, but then he got. And you know what? I admired what he was pushing, but it was sometimes I was like, man, we're putting too much out, and it was like I was not comfortable with.
It's
stuff.
like he had the drive to put us out there, and we were, as far as you and I were concerned, we were willing, if not ready. He was willing, but not ready. Like at all. Like, I mean,
and then he got overwhelming. I was like, dude,
I remember we were sitting there like, hey man, you in a hurry to leave, man? It's like, because it was just one step faster than it needed to be.
It's a lot of stuff needed to be improved upon too.
A
little demanding. Because remember, I mean, when I started playing, And I would have asked you right off the bat, but I'm sure you figured out why. I was still living at the house when I started playing with Chris, but he had just picked up the drums. And I was kind of, I remember encouraging him. That's why we did, dude, I don't like going out there and playing TNT in front of people. And it's not my favorite song to play, but it feels good playing it. It's fun. I'm not trying to shit on it. I love some AC/DC, but doing that one, dude, it's very, but you know what? It gets you, it gets a certain, and it's fun. And it was an easy one for him. Dude, all right, it's a little different with For Whom the Bell Tolls. I really love playing For Whom the Bell Tolls.
That was pretty
But
cool.
again, that was when I was telling Chris, hey, I think you'll get this quick. And it's a really fucking fun song to play with people.
No, and
that's how some of that came about. And then I was like, all right, he's got two. And I was like, all right, Ryan can come now. I was like, I'm gonna ask Ryan now because I was trying to work with Chris a little bit at first, and I didn't want to waste
before
time.
Chris, when it was me, you, and Asa, that's how you kind of got me into it. It was like,
Yeah.
hey, here's some, we did some jams on some things, but
you were catching on pretty quick, man. You got to remember one of the first songs me, you, and it was like when we decided to play some party, so we pushed it. That was a drive, where there was a goal playing a party, and ended up being too, goofy little shit. But we learned a bunch of songs quick, and you learned the Ocean. That
yeah, but still
just
though,
starting
it was like
picked up a bunch.
hey, well,
Chris ended up doing the Ocean.
Did we play the Ocean at the New Year's party?
Yeah. That was like one of the main ones we did with the
that
lyrics, though.
That party with that picture that you were like, hey, who's that guy? I was like, I don't know who the fuck that guy. He's like, dude, that's fucking you.
Yeah, when you had, well, they were both like that. No, we played it at both of them. We pretty much played, we played at your mom's house, and then we played at the other house. Right? I did the one side job.
To make the flower box. Yeah. But to go back to the original thing, man, I'm sorry, that was no.
long
Well,
tangent.
it's like we sit there and talk about music, and that's one of the things that it's like we have these different things that we do, but music is one of the main things that we, and for me, I'm terrible with music. I know what I like.
What do you mean? You're not terrible. What do you mean?
No. I'm terrible with, like, I couldn't tell you when a song was played, who played it. I couldn't tell you the drummer and the bass player and the lead guitarist and this. I couldn't tell you any of that. I was like, oh man, I really like this song, and it goes, I can't give you any of the relevant information.
Oh wow, you don't even know any of the names of the people in Led Zeppelin?
No.
Robert Plant?
Cool. I was gonna say Robert Page. I think I'm mixing up Pink Floyd.
No. Jimmy Page is the guitar player.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's the one that bought all. He's like fascinated with Crowley and the occult.
Yeah, I mean, there are people.
Maybe
that
why
I know.
some bad things and good things.
I could tell you.
Excuse me.
Lars Hetfield.
Then John Bonham was the drummer.
No, but
and then John Paul Jones is just the fucking shit.
I'm terrible with that kind of information. We had our buddy Ron, who could tell us everything up until the moment we met him about every single fucking Redskins player and how many yards they ran and touchdowns and tackles and all that. I don't get that much into it. I know what I like. I like the music. You know what? And you were sitting there talking about having doodle stuck in your head. You know what I've had stuck in my head for the past week?
What?
I'm sorry. It's my guilty pleasure.
What's that?
It's my Come Sail Away. It's my Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
What is it?
Panic at the Disco, Death of a Bachelor. Have you heard it? No, probably haven't. But Leslie was playing. She has to have and I kind of have to have background noise too.
Well, that doesn't make it on those. Those other ones are like cheesy ones that they play all the time.
But no,
so how's it one of, what do you mean by one of those? I don't listen to Styx like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's one of those songs where it's like, I don't know. Like they made a video for it, but I don't know how popular it is because the only people I know who know about Panic at the Disco is you, who mentioned it offhand years ago, and she, who's a big fan.
But
no.
Oh,
I remember you mentioning Panic at the Disco. Maybe they were playing with another group.
I just
at a
didn't know
show
where you were
going to.
getting because you brought up Styx, and when you throw Styx in
Did I
there,
say
man.
Styx?
Well, you said something about how you listen to
This is
Styx.
Come Sail Away.
Okay.
Is that what it was?
No.
No,
Well,
I'm
you
saying
said
it was a
Styx,
guilt-
so you meant Come Sail Away because I was about to
It's-
look, man.
No.
I'll pull my fucking windows up and I'll crank Come Sail Away. But if I hear
No.
Lady or Babe or some bullshit like that, I'm gonna fucking get angry. Fuck that shit.
We made
But
fun.
yes, I will crank.
We made fun of Eric for Every Rose Has Its Thorn,
I never got that one.
and everybody has their guilty pleasure song. And for me, right now, it is goodness, Death of a Bachelor. And if you listen to it, you'll be like, God damn, Ryan's a fucking fag. But
Hey,
it's
hey.
good. I keep whistling it. It's stuck in my head. It's stuck. It's stuck in there. It's stuck in there like you have Waddle Doodle, and I'm like,
Diddly-da.
Death of a Bachelor.
Isn't there some high pitched shit like that in that fucking Killer song, The Man or some shit?
The Man?
Yeah, something about being a man and it's about getting paid. I bet when it came out, they played it on Fridays a lot.
You know what? It's funny because what was it? There was like, I don't know, maybe it was the mid 2000s. There was all these the bands, so the Hives, the Vines.
It was also referred to as garage rock. Some of this, they called it that. They were putting it in there with like
was
the
it
white
supposed to be like lo-fi kind of
White Stripes inspired kind of stuff, and they kind of had at that time White Stripes and Strokes were almost like Nirvana and Pearl Jam for the grunge shit, even though
Oh, okay.
there were people that were way above one or the other.
You know what?
But that was what it put that.
I don't remember hearing about the White Stripes until way after hearing about the Hives or the Vines.
I remember when it was 2002 when I heard the White Stripes, and I was like, this is cool, but I don't know what it was the album before the Seven Nation Army one.
Oh, okay.
So it was the one, I guess, when that shit was first breaking through. It was that same. Jimmy Eat World came out a little before that. That wasn't in that vein. But what threw me off was like, apparently that's emo. That's what I was like, Jimmy Eat World. I'm not a big fan of a lot of it, but a lot of the shit that was considered emo is fucking like I don't know. Maybe the shit that was, you know how shit is. Sometimes what's doing it first sounds a lot better and a little bit different than your generic. Dude, you think emo, man? I'm sorry, like that fucking Jared Leto's band with the fucking Mars or what was it? Something to Mars. I don't know. I'm not a
30
fan
Seconds
of that.
to Mars?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that band. Was right in there to thick of that. The My Chemical Romance is put in there as like that's what I think when I hear
You know
emo.
what?
I do not put those two I see together. And that shit, that tight pants shit. That other band, I was like, oh,
God damn, I don't know. Maybe that's my guilty pleasure song.
What's that?
It's a My Chemical Romance song called "You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison."
I mean, it could end up being good, and there's probably some good stuff those
there's
bands
like piano playing. It's like dun 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 at the middle of a gunfight in the center of a restaurant. You know, it sounds really cool. But yeah, the Black Parade. My dad took me to a parade, and there was a bunch of goth people. It's like, yeah, I don't know where you went.
There are bands out there, dude, where there's some songs where it's like god awful, and if you give it a chance, there is some good shit there. But sometimes there's some bands where when you hear that fucking shit that's thrust in your face, like that fucking pelvic thrust with that god awful stuff right in your face, it's hard to give some of them a chance. Some of them, a lot of them, it's not even worth it. It's just like that.
And you know, it is maybe it's like a remnant of high school. We were talking about this, you know, where it was like, oh, you don't like such and such and so and so. Oh well, if you don't like these people, then you're a fucking fag, or you're gay, or you're not cool, or whatever, you know. But there's it's. I've learned this. Leslie likes like almost 0% of my music. And I'll listen to some of her stuff. And I don't like a lot of the music that she listens to. But there's a couple of songs from certain people. I was like, yeah, I like that. Perfect example is Panic at the Disco, Death of a Bachelor. That's
Look,
one.
and she likes different types of pop music.
Yeah, that's
Because
whatever.
pop is broad, but it's
Dude, I grew up with a cousin and a little sister. So, you know, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life is plastic. It's fantastic.
but again,
Listen to
every,
read the
everybody's got their
lyrics
own
of that
taste, man.
song, folks. That's a fucked up song by Agua, anyway. But
Dude, everybody's got their own taste. There's shit that I've thought was amazing, and people looked at me like,
yeah,
"You're a fucking retard," you know. I don't know. I shrug it off.
no.
Then there's some stuff where it surprised me where people get into it. Goddamn, I wish I had his name in front of me right now. Do you remember when I found out about that one guy he was around in the 70s and he was like an Italian dude and he had a whole song that was made out of gibberish and shit. And he was like,
Prison colonies and Izuzo.
Yeah.
All right.
He's not that. Yeah, and then the chick, yeah, dude. And he does
I got that in my favorites.
That fucking song is like, I've had people like, I would go around and like, you get that look like, I was like,
No.
this is
No,
amazing.
I tried to play it for Leslie.
No way.
And she was just like, you know, the beat's fine. You know what? Well, that's the thing though. You know, maybe that's like a thing in America. Because you would always hear that. Like, you would hear like some of the biggest fucking heavy metal bands, like fucking Metallica and fucking Kiss and shit. And they were telling you these stories about going to like Japan and China and playing their songs for people who can't speak a fucking lick of English. And they're singing their songs in English, even though they can't speak English. That it's just gibberish. And the thing was that he did it on purpose.
And it sounds great.
He did it on purpose to make fun of his own countrymen who said, you know what? Anything that comes out of America, you'll like. So you can't even fucking speak English. You know what I'll do? I'm going to make a gibberish song and see if you like it. And then
So you read about him a little bit.
Yeah. And they fucking loved it. And
Yeah.
guess what? As an American, I fucking love it.
I think it's great, man.
Even if I didn't know why he did it, awesome beat, awesome fucking the one you showed me was a color video of him like almost like an American bandstand thing where he's doing this act. But dude, there's a 7-minute long black and white version of that song where it's like him and a bunch of fucking dancers, and there's like a mirror across the stage, so it looks like it's double the size.
Is it live or is it just the studio?
No, but
I'll
I'll send it to you, dude. But it's like a 7-minute long song, and then the lady,
dude, I could throw down with that because the rhythm.
And she starts playing the fucking harmonica.
Is it the same lady?
I don't know if it was, but it's
All right.
the one you showed me was like a 3-minute TV version of the song. And then I found dude, I fucking strut through the grocery store listening to that fucking song.
I've done the same thing at 6 a.m., dude. Oh, dude, I'd kick that shit. I'd do it right as I walked in and grabbed my cart when I
It's an
first
awesome
heard
beat.
it. Yeah, dude. And that's where I roll through the produce aisle and start grabbing them fucking heads of lettuce.
But yeah, it's weird because I don't
Pack strawberries to mix a jam.
what's the best way to drink whiskey? However you like to drink your whiskey. Which is the best way to listen to music. Whatever music you like to listen to and however you like to listen to it. I don't like look, hey, all I say is at the very least, hey, it's not my cup of tea, man. That's where I end it. I don't judge anybody for the music they listen to. Everybody's got their guilty pleasures, man.
No. And you know what, dude? I agree. I mean, and that's like I said, I make the joke, and sometimes it was pretty cool hearing that you don't mind some of it. But I was one of those people when I was younger, and I still love the band, but I would always tell people, "Oh, you got to hear Dream Theater." Dream Theater is definitely not a band that's everybody's cup of tea, and I'm like, that's probably one where I shouldn't have tried. You know, some people don't get it. You know,
You're
and
right. You know what I feel like we're doing here? Airheads.
Which
I used to
part?
wear corduroy pants.
I like corduroy.
I used to listen to dubstep. I still like it. I was the editor of the school magazine.
These are cool traits. Yeah,
Nah,
that was a
man.
good movie.
Nah, man. Fuck that. You know, the only thing I feel bad about is like genuine Revenge of the nerds. They're the only people who got fucked up by nerd culture.
How so?
Well, there's probably many different levels. There's that fucking suave looking handsome motherfucker who played Superman. I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name.
Oh, Henry Cavill. Well, he's a fucking sexy nerd, man.
Yeah, exactly. He's like the pinnacle of fucking like, yeah, I can get any piece of ass I want, and I also like Warhammer and The Witcher and fucking D&D and shit.
It would be cool to hang out with that man, I bet.
I bet you. But and then there's like, you know, I'm gonna probably go down a couple of levels here. There's people like you and I who were like, yeah, we're nerds about a bunch of different things. We couldn't fucking go work at the Hadron Collider, but we can build shit and grow shit and fucking have a knowledge of music. And then there's like the fucking math nerds who end up becoming accountants or
Nuclear
system
physicists.
analysts or fucking lever pullers at a power plant. And, you know, those guys are like the Revenge of the nerds.
You bring
But
up
then-
Revenge of the Nerds, and this.
Go on.
You remember the guy who, in the first one, he never really had any lines, and his name was Poindexter. He played the violin at the end.
Fuck
when
yeah.
They did that.
Fuck
He looks
yeah,
like
dude.
two people. Lead singer of fucking that God damn it, Flock of Seagulls.
And Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. He looks like fucking John Heder and Napoleon Dynamite. That dude's badass in that role though.
You know what though? You know my favorite nerd movie was that not a lot of people remember?
What's that?
Real Genius.
Oh,
With fucking Val
yeah.
Kilmer. The dude, look, you know what?
He was in that, and fast forward, and he's in. Well, you got to think he was a fucking dickhead in Top Gun, but then
Yeah,
he's fucking Doc Holliday, man.
Dude, that's
That fucking nerd.
dude.
No.
One. Well, actually, 2 points. One, you can put
And
real,
he was a better Batman than fucking
you
George
can-
Clooney.
You can take Real Genius at the imaginary video store that doesn't exist anymore.
Remember Willow?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Val Kilmer was
she
the
hasn't
shit,
she
man.
hasn't seen Willow, man. That's the thing. She's
Dude,
like
you got Val Kilmer and
Mad
Warwick
Mardigan.
Davis. God damn.
But no, like I was joking with Leslie about it because I said, "Have you ever seen Willow?" She's like, "I've never seen Willow." I was like, "You haven't seen Mad Mardigan? He's the greatest swordsman in all the land." Blackroot. My mother raised me on Blackroot. You can't feed a baby Blackroot. But no, like Val Kilmer though, Real Genius. It was probably in the comedy section at the local video store. For any of our younger listeners, a video store was kind of like a library, but for videos.
I think I saw it on cable TV
you could pick it right out of the comedy section and put that shit right over in the sci-fi section because there's no way somebody like Val Kilmer's a fucking genius who's like a fucking what's the guy's name?
Well, he played a genius in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, he also played Bruce Wayne. So he's done it multiple times.
Yeah, but the difference is that
And he also played Doc Holliday.
I fucking love that shit. Say when. Say when. He fucking blasts a cap in that dude's head, and then he's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Dude, it sucks. The amount of money I would have to spend to get a revolver set up like he had. He's got He's got a revolver belt around his waist, and then he's got like a shoulder holster. Like, so he's got one here and one here. And I was like, man, that's fucking badass. He's sitting there with a gun behind his hip. I'll be a Huckleberry.
Hey, remember that time when we were shooting your AR-15 at my parents' house at my dad's targets, and we were like, "Man, we're not hitting the target," and then we found out later we were just blowing holes through it.
Yeah, my bad.
I
Green tipped ammo. Steel core penetrators. My bad.
man, we're a bad aim. Oh,
No.
No,
We're shooting it at such close range with steel core penetrators that were punching holes through your dad's very expensive steel plate setup. I felt bad about that. I offered to pay to repair that, and they said it was okay, but I still don't think it is.
no, it makes it harder targets because now there's holes when you shoot it with your hand.
I shot right through that hole. That's why the target didn't move.
You gotta dodge it.
Man,
Bullseye, motherfucker.
I've been wanting to do that, and we gotta well, I know it's always difficult
What's that?
to devote any amount of money to a firearms purchase.
No, and I should have done it.
Dude,
I ended up. That was supposed to be the firearm purchase.
Thanks, Donald Trump. Many years ago, during the COVID crisis, I spent all of my government money on guns and ammo.
It was huge.
And not out of any particular fear because people were getting into fist fights over toilet paper, but just because I love the sport, you know? But there are, because you were talking about getting a wheel gun. You can talk about getting a revolver.
Yeah, that's what I'd get.
Man,
I'd still do it.
I almost want to
Still need to do it. I mean, there's gun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, 12 gauge and
You got a 12
22,
gauge.
and it go. I'm just saying they go a long way. There is a presence, somewhat.
Dude, I'm thinking about trading in one of my fucking semi-automatics for a revolver. And
That's pretty cool.
And then getting a different 22, but it's not something that's necessary. But yeah, that would be fun. Although I gotta take advantage of my fucking fishing license before I start fucking trying to cap rabbits and shit. I'm gonna fucking kill Capricoso. Don't tell Leslie.
I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him either. So he
Excuse me.
either got taken down by
Yeah,
the
that would
neighborhood
suck.
cats or a coyote.
What sucks is, and we didn't go down there where I did some of that demolition over the weekend. There was a little house that was kind of like a laying house, and the coop that stood up so high. But you could probably almost add a little outside cage. You could put a rabbit in that motherfucker, or it would be good for a separate outside animal. It needs to be kept separate.
Dude.
But it's up high because we're older and middle age, and we don't have to bend over and use our back. So it's like stand up level, so which is convenient.
Dude, I was talking to Leslie.
That's one of the reasons why I can't wait to get these fucking chicks out of here, man.
I was
That
talking
nice
to I was
smell.
talking to Leslie about that. I was like, if I don't kill if I don't kill Capricoso, if I don't catch Capricoso, I don't know. I was like, man, I'm thinking about getting like a fucking rabbit. You know?
You're gonna keep it outside. They fucking smell, dude.
Yeah, dude,
it gets
no,
bad.
No,
They're-
no.
it's- Are you
That's
thinking-
that is an outside pet? I've never seen anybody who had a rabbit as an inside pet.
Really?
And if they ever did, I never saw it
Dude,
because they had
you
it
know what?
shortly as an inside pet, as you saw with people who had miniature pigs.
We had a rabbit here. His name.
remember.
that. And we took it again with a lot of the pets that came here. A rabbit somebody didn't want after they
Mhm.
got it, and he. All right, you remember his name was Bubba, I believe.
I don't remember.
And,
I don't remember the name, but I remember you guys had a rabbit.
And he eventually ended up outside because he needed more. Because it was depressing watching this fat ass rabbit in this fucking cage. He was in there with fucking Pork Chop when Pork Chop was little. And
Yeah,
then, I don't
yeah.
know. He ended up dying. I don't know what happened. He didn't have
Damn.
wounds, but it looked like he got. But I mean, that shit happens. But it was weird. He lived with this fucking pig for a while. But I'm sure it was hard. And then we realized, well, that's dumb because of the food thing. Because the pig's gonna eat whatever's in front of it at that time. That's food.
You know what I've seen people do successfully.
Hmm.
About a 2 foot tall by a 2 foot tall by 2 foot wide by 10 feet long run. That's what you do. You basically you build the platform to those specifications.
Mhm.
You put a small rabbit house in that particular thing, and you fill it up with straw. They've got the room that they need to run. It's like the minimum amount of room.
No, I've seen some of the stuff
But
with the rabbits.
dude, it's funny because
Are you talking about for breeding and eating?
dude.
Are we?
I don't want to make judgments, but
I've never tried it. I would do it.
Well, the only people
mean-
I've ever seen who've done that, and I can only assume that they did it for that purpose, were some of my Spanish customers. And I mean, I did their pest control for like 3 or 4 years. And I mean, I didn't name the rabbits or anything, but it always seemed to be like the same 4 or 5 rabbits, and then every once in a while there would be like 6 or 7. But there's so many different things. Like if you want to take the risk and eat that fucking, worm-ridden flesh, that's fine.
I mean,
If you got you got to do the vaccinations and all that
oh
shit.
yeah.
You got to do that. If you're talking about raising them for meat, if you want just a pet, then it's just like fuck yeah, just build your cage to those specifications and fucking let them run wherever. Just don't let them run in your fucking house. You need fucking cocoa. You don't need fucking Cocoa Puffs all over your fucking house.
Fuck no.
Yeah, and I imagine that's what you had to deal with. Cocoa Puffs, folks, is
Well, he was in a
rabbit
cage
shit.
in the house, but I didn't want that
No,
shit
no, I
even
remember.
there.
Didn't
man.
you
It
guys let him
sucked.
run around?
No, they let him out. Sometimes it sucked though, man. They tried to do that. It's fucking awful, man.
Yeah.
There was like a period there where there was. I
They're
don't want
not
to
meant to
refer
be
to it as
in
a rabbit
homes.
as a massive rodent, but I went through the hamsters.
Wouldn't
there
surprise
was,
me.
There was rabbits. I mean, not rabbits. Rats. Eric had that he didn't want to kill, and asked if we. And we got these old
Rasputin?
hamster cages. No,
You-
it wasn't
you
that
didn't-
one.
you
It was a
didn't- you
different
didn't
one.
have Rasputin.
No, but those
Which,
are really fucking disgusting.
Which, by the way,
and meat, fuck that shit. No rodents.
the name for a rat that was designed to be food for a snake that the snake would not eat and would not die. Rasputin, pretty cool name for a rat.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I get kind of weird about that, like, because I will delegate taking care of animals to other people, and I will 100% back my trust behind those people, and then leave that alone. So if the people that I delegate, that I micromanage to take care of the animals that I may or may not have had a whim in purchasing, if they don't take care of those animals are probably gonna die.
Yeah.
Although that being said, Bobby, I've been taking care of Bobby every couple of days. Yeah, dude. I don't know if Brittany or Denise are getting jealous of it. They're like, that bird hates us. Good luck trying to get that bird to like you. It's like, I feed it every time I'm here, and then I give her snacks. And now that we know she's a girl, I call her a girl. And it works out pretty good.
I used to get hate back in the day when certain things with the animals, and all it
Hate.
is, why do they come to you? Why do every time you get up, why do the animals
Wait.
get up and follow you?
Wait, you mean like
Yes.
from Rachel and
I didn't
Leah?
want. Well, I mean, Rachel wouldn't throw that hate at me, but I'm, other people we get up. It was just weird that where you get like, what
you're
did
the
you do?
one-
What are you doing? You holding? I was like accused of holding. I was like, I take care of them when I get home. Do you not want me to take care of them when I get home? I mean, and it's more than that. I mean, you acknowledging and touching and giving affection. Because they look like they you make eye contact, acknowledge them, notice,
and maybe the only animals I've ever come across were animals that this worked for, but it's always been my policy to speak with animals as if they were a human.
Oh yeah.
So dogs,
I've always been that way.
Cats are kind of like cats are bitches. You know, cats aren't going to be like, hey, come here, Mittens. Mittens isn't going to come to you. Mittens is going to look at you across the corner of a room and then give like the kitty cat equivalent of a middle finger.
Dogs show guilt when they've fucked up and they look back at you.
Dude, when
you see what they did.
When I was first living here.
Yeah.
Watching fucking Lord of the Rings on a computer in that corner right there. Polka Dot would come in the room. That big fluffy gray cat.
She was a Maine Coon.
Yeah, well, she fucking never liked me before, wouldn't come near me. And then I'm sitting there watching Lord of the Rings. She comes up to me. She's all like nuzzling up to me. I'm like, oh, man, cool. Pet her a couple of times. I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep watching this movie, you know. And I'm like, man, all right. Yeah, man, I got this bitch under wraps. And then, like, I go to, like, because I'm sitting Indian style, sitting on the floor. I go to put my hands behind myself, you know, to kind of brace myself while I'm watching the movie. And then stick my hands immediately into a fucking fur ball that she hacked up right behind me. Fucking that bitch. And I was like, and it's like, it wasn't like, oh, you fucking bitch. I was like, you fucking bitch. I'm saying this with a smile on my face. And it was like, you got me. And then I don't know if it was Molly or I don't know if it was Sadie, but one of them ate my deodorant and then threw it up on the couch. I remember that shit.
I would have put that on Molly back at that time. That was young, unhinged Molly who ate the fucking 1 pound York peppermint patty. Yeah, but damn.
But typically treating your animals like they're human beings and talking to them like a human. Maybe they don't get, you know, they're going to be like, hello, yes. Oh, you have named me Bill. And you keep referring to me as Bill.
They learn to get it.
Yeah, it's awesome to treat pets like your equals.
After having
Exxon sucks.
Yeah, he's got to
big
figure
gay.
It out. Yeah, handsome Dan.
Handsome Dan, big gay. You fucking dog.
I'm known by many names.
You fucking dog.
Living by myself with just, you know, animals and stuff, you learn to figure that out with the communication. And then you also have this appreciation because, you know, sometimes everybody has their moments where it's like, what, you know, it's whatever kind of emotion, something over the top, and people just let shit out. It's whatever, or say crazy shit. And they're looking over, and that they're looking at you, and it's like, I got your back. I ain't saying nothing. You know, it's like, ugh. But you got to think they get to hear and see it all, and you don't even think about it sometimes. That motherfucker still got your back after seeing your crazy ass.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
No. Well, and it like, man, a lot of my customers have animal. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I've been rambling for quite long enough.
If you get with them and communicate with them, it's a pretty cool thing. You brought up the cats, like Polka Dot. Back when when you stayed here and I used to have the couch back over here in this room, and like I'd fall asleep and then I'd wake up like, I don't know how I didn't feel, but sometimes I did when she'd do it. Molly had a habit of sleeping on top of a couch like a fucking cat back in the day. Yeah. Sadie would always end up being at my feet at the other end of the fucking couch. So, of course, you know, it's uncomfortable. I was like, man, this is warm. And then it's like fucking big ass polka dots right there on my chest. And then I look off in the distance and the real stranger, Astro, is chilling in the room. I was like, I truly feel like a beast master right now. I was like, I feel like I'm doing something right.
No, dude.
That's
I don't
trust right there.
I don't have any like actual pets that I pay for and care for, but one of my customers, Cristobal, he's got a German Shepherd, and every time I pull up to his house, his German Shepherd, she comes up, and she's just like sitting there waiting at the door. I get out, and like, dude, I'll walk up to his house, and she stays right, like her ear is right at my right knee. And there were times like in the summertime, I'm spraying around the outside of his house. I normally don't do anything on the outside. It's mostly on the inside. And I'm spraying. I'm like, I don't even know the dog's name. I'm like, hey, it's hot out here. Go lay underneath that tree. And she'll fucking walk underneath the tree and sit underneath the tree and just sit there and watch me work. And then one other time, I was walking out there. He had his fucking turkeys out. Fucking 2 male turkeys just stomping around. And like fucking like starting to like poof up at me and pop their wings out and shit. And then she sees them doing that. She's like just chasing them away from me. Like, get the fuck away from him. It's like, I feel like a beastmaster right now. It's like not even my dog. And the dog probably doesn't even understand English because his owners are Spanish. They mostly speak Spanish. They speak English to me to to talk to me. But if English was your first language, would you train your animals to speak in English, or would you train them to speak in your second language, which was German or French or whatever? No. That dog knows Spanish because it's too good of a dog not to know what.
And then with some of
Cristobal
those
is saying.
words, a lot of those you can use hand gestures at the same time, and they'll pick it up, or they'll pick up on just a certain tone. But there are certain words. This is where I always wondered, like, how are they with the words? And I still set a part where I'm like, no, maybe it was the clock. They can feel time and read time better. And it was like early in the morning, getting Molly, feed her early as shit, and she'd either be on the bed or sleeping on that chair. And I was like, I really wonder if she knows. Because when I started getting up and moving, she would be like that, kind of get a feeling. And I was just like laying there, and my back was to where she was at. And I was just like, breakfast. And that, all you heard was like she leaps out of the fucking chair. I was like, this fucking, maybe it was because I talked and it was that time. It was weird because I've used breakfast around her before too.
For all the folks who was
what are you doing?
For all the folks who were wondering what all that weird ass noise was, I was adjusting the mic to prove a point. Remember Harley?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, the cigarettes.
Here's the thing. We lived in a house with a bunch of people who all smoked, and every time we would smoke, we would take the dog out. It got to the point where Eric was like, watch this. Pulls out his pack of cigarettes and just goes like this on the table. The dog would come running from the other side of the fucking house because he knew what that sound was. So at one point is that they're creatures of habit. A dog knows when it gets fed. A dog knows when you're going outside. A dog knows, certain things. And then, smarter breeds, you could say, sit, lay, do a flip, bite that mailman in the nutsack. It's whatever.
With mine, it was to a point where hearing keys during a weekday, it would be like nothing. But during the weekend, they were so used to like going to the grocery store, because the little trips, it would be like I'd quietly try to pick up my keys because I wasn't going somewhere they could go, and I didn't even hear them. It was mainly Molly that would be like that, and I'd be coming out like acting like I was doing nothing because I was gonna slip out the door. And she's already just sitting there at the door with the fucking satellite ears, like ahead.
We going out?
I heard your fucking keys.
We going out?
got the keys.
I heard metal jingle against metal. That must mean we're going out. Nice.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Fucking sensitive. You fucks.
Well, I will say, we touched on a great many subjects this evening.
Indeed. We're a lot further along than I thought we were going to be. Getting about that time, though.
Yeah, man, we got to knock this out. We're not fucking Joe Rogan. We're not getting paid Joe Rogan money to make fucking 2-hour-long, long-form content videos.
Besides, it's getting late. You said something about enchiladas.
Yeah, man, I'm going to make me some fucking enchiladas, man.
Enchiladas are pretty cool.
Nothing better than fucking 10 o'clock enchiladas.
Yeah. I could go for some 10 o'clock enchiladas. Oh, no. Yeah, fuck it. Enchiladas sound pretty good.
Nice. All right. Good night, folks.